Have you ever wondered if being excessively generous can have negative consequences? Seemingly harmless, extreme kindness can, in fact, hide unexpected pitfalls. Let's explore the darker side of generosity and uncover the nuances that often go unnoticed. Dear listener, I ask that you do not skip any part of this video because, in this world, there are many people who do not care about self-improvement or becoming a better person. Don't be one of them. Just by being here, you are already part of the minority, so act accordingly and do not skip sections of this video. 1. The trap of expectation, when kindness generates hidden pressures. It's easy to get lost in the intricate webs that excessive generosity can weave, and one of these complex webs is the trap of expectation. By consistently offering our help and compassion to others, we inadvertently plant seeds of expectations that, over time, sprout into fields of emotional and physical pressure. This often unspoken expectation can turn benevolence into an incessant commitment, where the simple word no becomes an internal battle. We find ourselves in a dilemma between maintaining inner peace and meeting growing external demands, a balance that can eventually trigger feelings of exhaustion and disillusionment. Succumbing to the trap of expectation, we find ourselves trapped in a cycle where every act of kindness is received not just as a gift, but as an ongoing obligation. Generosity, which should initially be a free expression of compassion, transforms into an invisible chain that binds us to others' expectations. This emotional labyrinth can be challenging to navigate, and many of us, at some point, wonder if our genuine kindness is being lost in the tangle of incessant demands. 2. Disguised self-neglect, when dark generosity silences self-care. Entering the territories of self-neglect is often a consequence camouflaged by excessive generosity. As we extend our hands to support others, we may inadvertently forget to support ourselves. In this intricate game of giving and receiving, self-care often gets lost in the shadows, eclipsed by the urgency to meet the needs of others. This disguised self-neglect manifests when, after intensive periods of assisting others, we find ourselves exhausted and emotionally drained. It's as if, by delving into the depths of generosity, we lose sight of our own internal compass. Self-pity can flourish, often imperceptibly, while we tirelessly dedicate ourselves to the care of others. Striking a balance between dedication to others and self-care becomes a delicate dance amid the inherent challenges of boundless generosity. 3. The burden of constant rescue, when generosity becomes a lonely journey. Venturing down the path of excessive generosity often leads to the intricate maze of constant rescue. This pattern arises when those around us begin to depend on our intervention to solve all their dilemmas. Initially seen as a beacon, we quickly become the ship that must guide every journey. The imbalanced dynamics of constant rescue not only cast us in the role of saviors, but also limit the personal growth of those we seek to help. As listeners, we may have already experienced the emotional tension of realizing that, by offering immediate solutions, we are inadvertently preventing others from learning from their own experiences. This subtle trap can turn our generosity into a lonely burden as we strive to balance the desire to help with the essential need to allow others to tread their own paths. 4. Unequal relationships, when generosity draws invisible boundaries. Exploring the vastness of excessive generosity, it's crucial to recognize the phenomenon of unequal relationships. The act of giving too much can trigger imbalances in relationships, where the line between giver and receiver becomes blurred, turning into fertile ground for resentments and hidden conflicts. In many instances, unchecked generosity results in a tangible imbalance, where one party constantly finds itself in the position of giving more than receiving. This discrepancy can erode the foundations of friendships and partnerships, creating emotional gaps that, over time, may become unsustainable. As we delve into this complex territory, It's important to reflect on the relationships we cultivate, questioning whether our benevolent acts are fostering a true exchange of energies, or if they are delineating invisible boundaries that may eventually shake the foundations of our closest bonds. 5. The shadow of exploitation, when generosity becomes a disguised currency. Amid excessive generosity, a disguised shadow deserving attention emerges, subtle exploitation that infiltrates altruistic acts. Excessive generosity can inadvertently attract those seeking to benefit from its compassionate nature, turning selfless gestures into a silent currency. This exploitation, often masked under seemingly innocuous requests for help, can gradually manifest, leaving us questioning the true intentions behind constant solicitations. As listeners, we may have already felt the tension between the genuine desire to help and the uncertainty of whether our good intentions are being used as pawns in a subtle game of hidden interests. Awareness of this shadow of exploitation can guide us in preserving the authenticity of our benevolent acts, promoting a generosity that flows from sincere hearts, untouched by distrust. 6. Erosion of authenticity, when generosity loses its true essence. Exploring the depths of excessive generosity leads us to a crucial crossroads, the erosion of authenticity. As we strive to extend our hands in continuous acts of kindness, there is a danger that over time, these altruistic actions may lose their sincerity and become mere empty rituals. The erosion of authenticity occurs gradually as excessive generosity transforms into an automatic obligation, devoid of the original warmth that drives the genuine desire to help. As listeners, we may have already felt the challenging duality between the desire to make a difference and the fear that our actions may become mere gestures devoid of meaning. In this path, it is crucial to question whether our benevolent acts still carry the warmth and authenticity that initially inspired them, or if they are succumbing to the coldness of mechanical and soulless generosity. This reflection allows us to preserve the true essence of generosity, preventing the loss of its intrinsic value and the fading of authenticity that makes it so powerful. 7. Discouragement of personal growth. When kindness can cast a shadow on individual development. Entering the territory of extreme generosity often puts us at a crossroads where constant concern for others can become a subtle barrier to personal growth. By assuming the role of constant problem solvers, we may inadvertently discourage the independent development of those we seek to help. As listeners, we may have experienced the emotional dilemma of balancing generosity with encouragement for personal growth. Discouragement of individual development occurs when, by offering ready-made solutions, we inadvertently undermine others' ability to learn from their own experiences. This subtle phenomenon can create an environment where constant help, though well-intentioned, becomes a shadow that obscures opportunities for personal growth. Reflecting on the impact of our generosity allows us to find a healthier balance, encouraging not only assistance, but also the independent flourishing of those touched by our kindness. 8. Vulnerability to negative energies. When generosity can become a gateway to destructive vibes. Amid the compassionate act of being excessively generous, a concerning shadow arises: vulnerability to negative energies. Those who take advantage of our generosity can inadvertently introduce toxic elements into our lives, turning benevolence into a gateway for destructive vibrations. As listeners, we may have already experienced the feeling of being involved in constant dramas, resulting from interactions with people exploiting our generous nature. This vulnerability to negative energies can create a vicious cycle where the act of helping becomes a source of emotional exhaustion. Reflecting on this vulnerability allows us to strengthen our emotional boundaries, ensuring that generosity does not become an access point for harmful influences. Thus, our kindness can shine without being overshadowed by the shadows that may arise when we become vulnerable to negative energies around us. The goal here is not to discourage kindness, but to promote awareness of the challenges that may arise when taking generosity to the extreme. As listeners, we can all strive for a healthy balance between helping others and taking care of ourselves. After all, it's essential to remember that genuine kindness should begin from within. If you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to motivate me to continue this work. Leave a like, share it with others. Have a great day, and until next time.